Hello traders, we've just had the pound interest rate come in and look at the pound move, guys, right? I'm just going to go straight into the chart. No hellos, no welcomes. Yes, here we go, guys. I'm going to take 20% profit there. 1 second. Sorry, guys, bear with me. I'm in this trade just for 20%, and we're going to discuss the pound. It's been a bittersweet day for me with the pound, right? So I've just taken some profit off there, guys, right? Okay, so let me explain. Well, let's take a look at the news first of all. Let's start here. So why are we seeing such weakness in the pound? Right, let's understand that first of all. So the interest rate was as expected, as it normally is, right? It's very seldom that the interest rate is not the same as the forecast. But you have got two members last month, they forecasted two members would vote for a rate cut, okay? But now that has increased to 4 people. And if you get a rate cut, that makes the pound weaker. So that's what you're seeing, guys. You're seeing a reaction to that. And obviously, these 2 people are the 2 people in here. So they've gone from unchanged to a vote cut, right? And a interest rate cut would mean a weaker currency. And that's what we're seeing right now, guys. All right. So this is worked out nicely for me. And I shared this trade with you yesterday, right? I was in pound Canadian dollar. I was in up here. My stop loss was up here, but look, you can see I moved my stop loss down to here. I actually took 80% profit here, right? And I've just let 20% run, and I've taken profit at basically 8,550 in here. All right, so yeah, that's what we're seeing with pound Canadian dollar, and therefore that was a nice trade for me. But I'm taking profit there because this is a key support level, right? If I go out to the day chart now, right, you can see this has been a pretty important level, right? Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. So yeah, I've taken some profit here, guys. So I've benefited from pound strength with this, pound weakness with this trade. But on euro pound, I got stopped out of earlier on today, right? This didn't even give me a chance to, even see what the interest rate would do, but it would have gone against me anyway. But I actually entered this yesterday. So on the H4, you can see we was in a downtrend, and then price retraced it to the top of this range. So, the top of this trend line. So I started selling there, it was yesterday evening for me. And then I put my stop loss well out of the way, right? I thought this was a very nice setup. But as you can see, we've had nothing but pound weakness today. All right, so yeah, a bit bittersweet with those 2 trades. I'm still in Canadian dollar Swiss franc buys, right? And again, I used this term yesterday. This is what's known as farting about. Still farting about, right? But nothing on the daily. If we look at the daily, nothing on the daily has told me to get out of this, right? Bullish, bit of indecision, bullish, right? Nothing's really telling me to get out of this trade. So I'm going to stick in it, and here's my target. And remember, this Canadian dollar Swiss franc trade is backed up by the weekly chart, right? Because we was in this downtrend, and now because we broke this high, getting higher highs, these lows have held, we're still in an uptrend. Okay, we've had this big bullish weekly candle, right? So yeah, still in Canadian dollar Swiss franc buys. Yeah, guys, I will do the intros in a minute. We just had pound news and we had to get involved. I'm also going to show you a trade that I've just gotten into as well. And this is part of our indicator strategy, our DS1 strategy. And I'm going to share that in a minute. But let me just say hello to everyone. How are you? Hope you're all having a good trading week. And let's see who is in the house. Hi, Ravi. Hi, Luigi, Nicholas, Lee, Brett. How is everyone? Hope you are well. Right, so what we're going to do on this live stream is we are going to look at an indicator trade that we've just gotten into. I've just shown you pound pretty much. So we're going to let that settle, but I still like euro pound sales, but on the back of that news, perhaps not. I'm also going to reveal the winner of the $5,000 funded challenge. And I'm very excited because I get to use my Wheel of Fortune and feel like a game show host. This is one of the highlights of my week. Very sad existence that I have. And what else are we going to do? There was something else, guys. Yeah, and take as many of your questions as possible. How can I forget this one? So, guys, yeah, ask as many questions as you like about trading, and I will endeavor to answer all of them. Let me have a quick drink of water. Yeah, let's get stuck in. Let's begin. So, okay, let's start with the trade we just got into. So I'm not going to give you the secret source of this trade because it's part of our indicator, right? But basically, you know, it follows price action. We're in a daily uptrend. Sorry, it's not New Zealand yen. It's New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. This is the trade that I am in. So it's following daily trend, right? The indicator is designed to do this, right? So it's following daily trend, and we've had an inside candle, right? It's pretty much inside this candle. It closed back inside. And if we look at the H4, right, we're still holding on to the H4, right? We're still basically here, guys, right? And we're still holding on to this level. And because of X, Y, and Z, our indicator is very mechanical and has told us to enter New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar buys. And as a minimum, the indicator works on a risk to reward of 1:1.5. So literally got into this trade here. You can see it started buying in here, right? Here's my 1.5 reward. Here's my 1 risk. So we'll see how this plays out. Yeah, and can I just say the indicator performed brilliantly in January, I must say. I think it was something crazy double figures, right? I think it was around 19% or something like that, you know. So guys, if you're interested in that, it's great for people that work 9 to 5 and just want something really mechanical. So yeah, we're in New Zealand yen. Now, euro pound, right, I potentially still liked, but yeah, not anymore. Yeah, I still have my eye on this trade because before the news came out, right, this was really reacting at this level. But now we've had more members, you know, voting for a rate cut next month. I'm less inclined for euro pound. So let's ignore that. I'm not interested in that anymore. But bear in mind, guys, we do also have the euro interest rate decision as well, right? So we've got this at 5:15 Dubai time, right? We've got all of this mega important information coming out. Now, the pound has moved really strongly because of this, right? But also, when the Bank of England Governor Bailey speaks, not easy to say after several pints, not that I've been drinking, I'm still doing 50 days of no alcohol, and I'm on day 32 or something. Anyway, yeah, it will be just as volatile when he starts speaking, right? And it's the same here. Chances are all of this data will come out as expected, right? But it's what's said in here, this press conference, right? This could make things volatile. So, you know, we still might have a trade on some euro and pound pairs, but let's see what this news does first, right? There's no point jumping into anything right now. So let's see. Yeah, so there you go, guys. Was there anything else I wanted to show you? I still like euro Canadian dollar sells, right? If we go to euro Canadian dollar now, it's more of this weekly chart, right? Because if we follow structure here, we were basically here and we never broke that level. You're probably thinking, Tom, what have you been ingesting? And the answer is nothing, right? Apart from some biscuits as usual. But what we have got is this massive bearish weekly candle. And because of that, it held on to that level. So I'm still very bearish euro Canadian dollar. I'm very much a seller. And if you look at the monthly chart as well, right, we're quite a way away from our smart river. Again, this is part of our indicator. And just look at all these bearish candles coming in. Bearish, 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 bearish. You know, that suggests we have room to the downside. But my target, I'm just looking to take it down to this 1.6. So I like, you know, euro Canadian dollar sells. And then just look at all of these top wicks. Now, the reason I haven't gotten into this trade, right, is the following, because this is a really important point, right? You need to, and I let my stop loss dictate a lot of the time if I can enter a trade. Now, I want my stop loss above this level here, because what you'll see a lot of the time is, you know, the market does this, right? And it comes back up and wants to test that, and we get a head and shoulders, right? I know a guy who only traded head and shoulders. He loved head and shoulders and eventually got sponsored by head and shoulders. He didn't really, it's a silly joke. But yeah, he only traded head and shoulders. And this, you know, this is why I want my stop loss up here somewhere. And this is going to be my target down to these lows. So if we go down to the well, actually, let's just stay here. So if you bear that in mind, right, this is really where I want to put my stop loss. And all the way down here, let me do that again, right? Up here is where I want to put my stop loss, and down the low there is where I want my target. So the middle level of that is where I get 1:1. So if we get a retrace up into here, maybe that euro news, the euro interest rate, is what will make this happen, right? It might not, but if it does, you know, and we start getting price pushing up into here, I'll be looking for a sell trade, right? Stop loss up here and look to take it back down to this support level in here. So, you know, that's what I always talk about, planning a trade, right? And that's what I'll be doing with euro Canadian dollar. In fact, let me put my alarm in, right? So yeah, there you go. So if that alarm goes off, I will become very interested in selling euro Canadian dollar. Yeah, and like I say, guys, you know, plan your trade like that. You know where you want to put your stop loss. You know where your target should be, right? You want to put your stop loss above a resistance or support level, and your target should be a resistance or a support level, right? Again, it's not rocket science, right? It's just keeping things logical, right? Don't overcomplicate it. If I get sent one more complex strategy, right? Because as part of my mentorship and as part of the VIP, you know, I get sent trading plans, right? And some of them, I look at them, I just think, Christ, you know, you need to have a degree in physics to decipher what the hell is going on. Don't make it that complicated, right? Simple is best. And that's what I'm waiting for. It's as simple as that. If we get a retrace here, stop loss up here, target down here, 1:1 as a minimum, you know, we can build this trade if it starts breaking. All right, so yeah, still like euro Canadian dollar sells. What else we got coming in here? Yeah, and CJ, where are you, CJ? CJ, afternoon, CJ. CJ, from using our indicator, has just passed a prop firm challenge. So CJ, bravo, well done, good for you, mate. Yeah, and all he's been doing is trading our indicator. So yeah, well done, CJ. Good work, me old China. Right, what else are you looking at? Okay, so let's have a look at this, right? So Lee mentioned this yesterday because we can apply how I approach a market from technical trading to literally anything. However, stocks is probably not one of them. Well, it isn't one of them, right? Because ultimately I don't want to sell stocks. But we're going to take a look at a stock. So why don't I want to sell stocks? Because the whole world and the entire board of directors of a company, their sole mission is to increase stock price. So why would I bet against that? Right? It doesn't make sense to me. I would only buy stocks. I would only buy indices, right? And I'm talking from an investment point of view. I'm not talking about intraday trading, right? Why would I go against the board of directors? Why would I go against, you know, the government and, you know, the whole of the economy wanting to keep going up, right? Don't do it. But it'll be interesting. Let's take a look at this stock. So it is GDWN.L. Okay, this will be the same. Right, this is just a UK version. Right, let's get rid of that. Right. That's stocks. Yeah, is this definitely the right one? Let's go back here. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, here we go. So this is a stock, guys, right? It's just going to be interesting, right? Because obviously my focus is on Forex, but let's apply some technical analysis to this chart, right? Now, let's start with the weekly and work our way down, right? See, you know, like, look, see what I mean? Like, this is a stock. Started down here, it's up here. The job of the board is to do that. So the board's doing well, right? And this is an engineering stock. Okay, and it has a large defense component. Okay, so this obviously a defense stock will do well when there's war, and there's quite a bit of war around at the moment, right? So, you know, this will help this stock. But from a technical point of view, right, on the weekly, let's just follow structure. Things are very overbought, right? Plus, we're seeing a bearish weekly wick, and it will be interesting to see what this wick does. Okay, so on the weekly, I'm not interested in buying it. It would be a stay out. Okay, but let's drop down to the day chart now. And looking at the daily, it's a nice buy trade, right? We're in this uptrend. And just look how messy stocks are. Look at all these gaps. Yeah, you cannot technically trade stocks, right? They're just too messy. But having said that, right, there's a nice level through here. We're in an uptrend, right? Weekly's in an uptrend. We've got this, what was once resistance becomes support. right? Price is at a very nice level for buying. If I was trading just the daily chart, I would start buying in there, stops below here, and look to get my 1:1, right? So daily is very much a buy trade. Let's drop down to the H4 and see if we can find a decent entry here. Well, there you go. I mean, it's just a decent entry right now. Yeah, we're in a H4 uptrend, broke these highs. There you go. Stops below there. Yeah, so there you go, Lee. That is pretty much a buy trade, although the weekly is very overextended. Let's go back to euro pound, just see what the pound is doing. Okay, so pound off the back of that is just super weak. Did I get out of my pound Canadian dollar a bit prematurely? Okay, well, no problem. It was still nice profit. Yeah, so no problem with that. And also, guys, right, you know, it was a bittersweet day, but here's a reason why you should let some profit run, right? So my euro pound trade, as we know, right, I got stopped out of. Okay, so that's -1%, right? My pound Canadian dollar trade, I closed 80% here and let 20% run. So I've managed to get an extra, you know, around 150. So I've managed to get around another fifths at 20%, right? So I'll end up getting like a 1:2. Sorry, a 1:1.2 risk to reward. So in fact, yeah, there you go. Right, let's have a look at some other questions. Ravi, yen weakness still continues. Are you inclined to take a long on one of the yen crosses, perhaps CAD yen? Yen worries me to death at the moment. You know, it doesn't worry me to death, but let me explain what I mean. The indices, right? Look at the indices, right? The indices are doing this. They are in not free fall, but they're dropping, right? Clearly, this was that last weekly high, and ever since we've hit that, we've been dropping. Now, this is the NASDAQ. So there was lots of, you know, Microsoft had a big sell-off. There's been a bit of a slow up on AI. And, you know, the NASDAQ is all about big tech, right? But let's have a look at the S&P, right? Selling off, but not as dramatically, right? And let's have a look at the Dow Jones, not coming down, right? So that's really interesting. So what that's telling you is big tech is the issue there, right? Because NASDAQ, I forget what percentage, is it the big seven? I forget what percentage they make up of the NASDAQ. But if they drop, the NASDAQ drops. Look at the Dow Jones. That is holding its own. So this might explain why the yen isn't dropping, right? Because if you look at the NASDAQ and you saw this sell-off, that should mean yen strength. But we're not getting that. Whereas with the Dow Jones or the S&P, there isn't a sell-off. It's just kind of doing nothing. So the yen will do nothing, right? But if you look at any yen pair, I mean, let's look at Canadian dollar yen because Ravi's looking at that. You know, would I buy that? No, right? Because we are trading into a last daily high, right? So I don't want to be doing that. And if we look at the weekly chart, right, you can see there was a bit of a level through here. Right? You can see prices reacted before, and we've had a bit of a sell-off. You know, do I want to keep buying into that level? No, not for me. And just look at the weekly. The weekly's in this uptrend. So that's telling us to buy, but we're hitting resistance here. One yen pair I do like is New Zealand yen. Because it's broken this weekly resistance. And New Zealand yen, we've clearly broken it in here, and New Zealand yen has all of this room. So that is a yen pair I would be interested in. But it's going to be really interesting to see where these indices go. And that's going to have a big impact on the yen. But you can't trade like that, right? You can't be, what if the indices fall, or what if the indices, go higher? You can't trade like that. You have to trade what's in front of you. And what is in front of me is a New Zealand yen buy trade. But if we go down to the daily, I still want to see a bit of a retrace. Right, you could draw a trend line through there. Right, I still want to see the smart river catch up as well. If we come down to here, let me drag that down. Yeah, maybe this 93 psychological level, I think we've got a good trade. Right, but right now, no, I need a retrace. So yes, there's yen weakness, but pretty much the only yen pair I really like is New Zealand yen. And again, I put this in my weekly Forex forecast. So check that out, guys. Right, what else are we looking at? Guys, get your questions over to me. Don't be shy. I will answer as many questions as you like. Also, guys, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and smash that like button. And also, guys, please come join our free Discord. If you look above my head, we have a free Discord channel. It's free. We've got a great trading community. It's really growing. Lots of good traders in there. So come share knowledge and ideas with them. All right. And and also, guys, every Sunday we offer a live stream at 12 p.m. UK time in the Discord. And it's free to all members. And it's a really good way to look at your planning for the following week. So go check that out, guys. Also check out the website, got access to all of our premium trading education. And please check out our promotion with Pepperstone. If you want to support the channel and you want free VIP access and you want a free TradingView subscription, then check out Pepperstone and hit the link. All the links are in the video description. And yeah, here you go, guys. I've just brought up the live stream details. So come join that as well. Guys, on TikTok, you probably won't be able to see that. But yeah, come join our Discord and you'll know what I'm talking about. Right, guys, let's see who is the winner of the $5,000 funded challenge. All right, so drum roll, please. Let me bring up my Wheel of Fortune. This is where I feel like a game show host. So all you had to do to enter, guys, was join our Discord and leave an answer to yesterday's question of the day. Right, and these are the people that entered. So let's find out who is the winner. Here we go. Tony Gold, if you are watching, join the Discord. Well, you already have, but just DM Simply Forex, and we will sort you out a $5,000 funded challenge. Congratulations, Tony. Well done, you. Let me have some drink. I'm just choking to death on the live stream. Guys, what other questions have we got? Don't be shy, come share them. Let me have a look at a few trades that I am in. So Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. Let's have a look at H4. Okay, still not much going on there. Let's see what euro pound's doing. Yeah, this is such an important area for euro pound. If we look at the day chart, right, it's a real important resistance level through here. You'll see it better on the H4 as well. So it'd be interesting to see how this daily candle finishes, especially on the back of the euro interest rate as well. Yeah, let's have a look at euro CAD. I need this to shoot up to give me some value. We're not seeing that. So no trade there at the moment. Let's have a look at our New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar trade that we are in. Not much movement there. There is a H1. Yeah, if we make it through here, these last H1 highs, we get a candle like that, I think we're off to the races. Okay, so we'll keep an eye out on that as well. And as always, guys, if you want access to all of my trades, so, you know, I give you the trades ahead of time. I show you if they lose. I show you if they win. And what I do, I've let 20% run. I just closed the remainder of the 20%. And here's the trade that I got into today as part of our DS1 strategy. So, yeah, come join the Discord, guys. You won't be disappointed. Yeah, come join it. Right, what other questions have we got? Yes. So Lee's asking, could you get Carol Vorderman to spin the wheel next time? I used to love a bit of Carol Vorderman. I used to love I still love Countdown. I'm like a 80-year-old man. But yeah, love Carol Vorderman, love Countdown. Yeah. Enough said. Nero, trying to sell gold, but it's not playing ball. Okay, you're a braver man than me, Nero. And also, Beshu is also wanting to know thoughts on gold and silver. All right, so let's take a look there, guys. Right, so let's have a look at gold. Nero is trying to short it. Now, this doesn't seem as, you know, a week ago, if you said you were selling gold, everyone would say, are you a maniac? But a week later, we've had this massive sell-off on gold, right? So it becomes less crazy, right? You know, and I still think we have room potentially back down to this support. So, okay, looking at the weekly, I definitely don't want to buy it because of last week's candle. But do I want to sell it? Well, let's have a look at the day chart. Now, if this becomes substantial enough, right? Now, this is a bit of price action that isn't always that clear, right? Now, at this point, we are still in an uptrend, right? We're here, but we're still in an uptrend, okay? You know, this was the last, let's start there. This was the last high. We're getting higher highs, and we still got higher lows. So we're in an uptrend. It's very, you know, volatile moves, but we're in an uptrend. Now, for me to start selling this, I need this level right here to prove itself, right? And to prove itself, you know, I need price to heavily react at that point, right? And it hasn't yet. You know, it's not a substantial enough level right now. Now, it did come back up and feel that, you know, it'd be a really nice H4 entry if we look at the H4. But for me, that is not substantial enough. You know, if we end up getting something like this, right, and then it comes back and tests it again, okay, it's proved itself, right? And I would look to potentially sell from that level, right? As I would also look to buy from that level, right? So that's the thing with gold, right? You know, you could argue a sell trade on the back of that weekly sell-off, but you could still argue a buy trade because we're very much in an uptrend and fundamentally very bullish on gold. So So for that reason, I stay out. I don't want to trade any asset where somebody could argue quite strongly either way, right? There's a very good argument for a sell trade, or there's a very good argument for a buy trade. Right? I simply do not want that, right? Yeah, and that's the problem with gold. I mean, if you look at the H4, I think you're at a very nice H4 level. Yeah, I mean, the last highs and lows really are through there. I would put that whole level, right? Because this is the only area where we've had some reaction, right? And we're getting a reaction at this level again. Now, if this level holds and, perhaps we get this happen on the H4, then okay, we've had a clear breakdown in H4 structure. We've had a bit of sideways movement at a resistance level. Then, yeah, okay, I'd come lower. And the opposite would be true, right? If we get to this level and it does this, and then we get a break, then I think we could come back up to those highs. So, yeah, need to see what happens in here, really. There's not enough indication to go one way or the other as yet. So, yeah, Let's have a look at silver. Again, let's do a top-down approach, and it's very similar, right? We've had we're clearly in an uptrend. We've had a huge weekly sell-off, right? That's the problem, contradiction. If we go to the day chart, again, we have this dilemma of, is this a key level to trade from? And right at this moment, no. Right? Price could do this for a little bit, right? So for this to become a key level, I would need to see a break of this level. So if we got something like this, right, and we end up with a candle that breaks these lows, then this has proved itself, because you're getting lower lows, and therefore that is a lower high. Then I would be interested in selling silver, okay? If this level doesn't break, right, and we end up with something like this, and we break that level, then I'm very much a buyer. But, obviously we could be waiting days for that price action to set up, but that's what I need to see. I'm not going to rush in. Everyone's thinking, oh, gold, silver, they've had a sell-off. Let's jump in it. Let's jump in it. No, right? Let's jump in a buy trade, everyone's thinking. But this could quite easily do this, right? There's nothing telling me that it couldn't do that, right? So, yeah, they're not trades for me right now. If you put a gun to my head, don't do that. There'll be some complaints. But, if you put if you threaten to pull my toenails out, then I would, based on the weekly candles, I would suggest silver has a bit more room to the downside, and gold has a bit more room to the downside, right? But still not willing to trade them. Okay. Yeah, Brett doesn't get on well with gold. Brett, yeah, it's like his ex-mistress. Is that a thing? Can you have an ex-mistress? Sorry, Brett. Don't want to get you in hot water. Yeah, there's no mistresses involved. But yeah, basically takes all his money. So there's the reference there. Anyway, I'll move on. Okay, we've got a question here. So do you ever use Fibonacci? It's a good point, right? Now, with something like gold, this is a really good example, right? Now, if we remove this, right, and even let's go back a few days, Let's go here. Right? Now, this is a really good point. I will use Fibonacci levels if there isn't any level that I can work from, right? So, bear me 1 second, guys. Right, so I will use Fibonacci levels because in here, look at the daily, there's no level in here, right? There's a level there, there's a level through here, but there's no levels in here. So that is when a Fibonacci level becomes useful, right? So then you can draw your fibs on, right? Go from the high down to the low. And pretty much the golden zone is this 0.5 to 0.618, right? And just look at this in a minute. It's not coincidence that prices work there, right? This is known as the golden level of Fibonacci, right? 0.5 to 0.618. There are a lot of traders out there waiting for a retrace to this level, and then they will sell. So if I go to the H4 now, right, and we just play this along, you know, we sort of know the answer, but look where this reacts at, right? It's reacted at this 0.618 to 0.5, right? This golden fib level. I actually do a tutorial on this in the VIP, guys, right? So yeah, you know, I do use it if there's not a significant enough level for me to see, right? So I can use fibs. I also use it if I do have a support and resistance level and I draw a fib, and if the 0.5 or 0.618 lines up with the support and resistance level that I've drawn, you know, that's a pretty good double confirmation, and makes it a pretty good level. Right, makes it a strong level for price to react from. So yeah, in those situations, Beshu, I will use those. Right, guys. Yeah, right. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. This is the last live stream of the week. So, guys, please don't forget to check out my weekly Forex forecast on Saturday, where I tell you all of my trades that I'm looking for the following week. Also, come join me for the live streams again next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 12 p.m. GMT. Come join me for that as well, guys. Enjoy the rest of your trading week, and have a nice weekend. If you're not part of the Discord, if you are, I'll see you in the Discord. All right, guys. See you soon.